there, adventurers. Welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kayla, and today we are continuing our series on Walt Disney World Resorts, talking about Caribbean Beach Resort.
Is it Caribbean or Caribbean?
Caribbean.
Yes.
I'm like, how do you say it? Is this
No.
a West Coast versus East Coast thing? I don't know.
Anything
It's
can...
Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's Caribbean Beach.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Caribbean Beach Resort location is
Epcot-ish.
Epcot-ish, right next to Riviera, the deluxe resort.
Right next to.
It is great for many reasons.
It's also not great for many reasons.
Yeah.
We'll get into it.
So recently, let's do a quick rundown overview of all the different things. So one, nice beachy fun vibe, right? Has the Sebastian's restaurant. The lobby's kind of cool, makes you feel like you're in the Caribbean of sorts. And it was recently renovated where some of the rooms now, well, all of the rooms were renovated, but some of them even have Little Mermaid theming. Right?
And even it wasn't just rooms renovated. They did an entire renovation of the lobby and stuff too. That's
right.
different
And
than
the
it had
pool,
been.
the main pool, I should say. So lots going on there. Probably the number one selling point is it's the only moderate resort that has access to the Skyliner. And if you're just watching this for the first time, the Skyliner is the gondola system that gets you quickly to both Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And the hub for it is actually at Caribbean Beach. So you all lines pass through Caribbean Beach.
So if you want to go to Epcot, you're right there. If you want to go to Hollywood Studios, you're right there. You don't have to connect. Where if you were coming from anywhere else.
I mean, that to me, anytime I don't have to get on a bus, I'm in, right?
Here's a really big selling point, because I was just there this weekend. Really big selling point for my mother. Also, my mom loves when I shout her out, which I think is funny because I feel like anytime we talk about Disney, I'm talking about my mom. There is a Joffrey's at the Skyliner. Like that's the only Joffrey's that's like, it's because it's a transportation hub. So it's like the one that's at the Ticket and Transportation Center. And she was like, are you kidding me? Granted, there's also better, nicer coffee at Riviera that you can easily walk over to. But if like coffee is of importance to you, there's one at Caribbean Beach. There's also a coffee shop in their quick service location. It's just not like, it's like the push a button and make coffee kind of coffee spot. But big selling point for someone from the Seattle area that is a coffee fiend is that she could get coffee right there if she wanted to.
Right there. No, that is huge. I mean, I didn't even think of that. It is some upsides, downsides. So one, it's a moderate, so price is probably going to be pretty good. We talked about the Skyliner. Downside is there's multiple bus stations. It is so sprawling, and we've talked about this before. If you're staying at a value or moderate and they have a preferred room category, it's not a view, it's not a preferred view, it's just a preferred location. It's going to put you near the main pool, the lobby, the buses. Weirdly enough, if you stay here and you're in the preferred, you're not going to be actually near the Skyliner hub. So I still love a good preferred room location because you're still near all the other things. So if you're going to all four parks, you're going to need the buses 2 days anyway. All the main lobby and the food and the main pool. Yeah. So I'd still prefer that and only having to walk over to the Skyliner when needed. It has over 1,500 rooms and there's 24 buildings making up, I believe there's 4 or 5 different sections.
Yeah, I think so.
It's large.
There's Jamaica, there's Barbados. They're all like themed after different countries in the Caribbean.
Great location, sprawling rooms. These rooms also, not every room sleeps 5, but they do have options that have a 5th sleeper. Reminder, 5th sleeper, not a full-size twin, really meant for a 12-year-old and younger. So for me, I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the Skyliner. But it's big. It's big.
I like that if you're staying in a certain part of the hotel, you're actually closer to Riviera than you are to your own hotel, which is nice because you can like I think there's a misconception that a lot of people don't realize until they've gone to Disney, and that is the hotels, you don't have to be staying at a hotel to go to that hotel. You do have to be staying there. Like you can't be staying at Caribbean Beach and go over and use Riviera's pool.
Right.
But you can go have food at Riviera. You can go get a coffee from their nice little coffee shop in their lobby. You can wander around all you want. So if you're staying in the buildings that are closer to Riviera, one, you're closer to their Skyliner. So you're that much closer to Epcot. And two, you can go over and like grab the breakfast, get one of their yummy cookies. Have you had those cookies?
Yes, they are
Oh my
good.
God, they're so
I
good.
know. And they have some of the best quick service food.
Yeah.
But so Kayla's correct in that you could be in a standard room category and
Mhm.
actually be closer to the Riviera Skyliner hub than the Caribbean Beach hub, which is an interesting concept. And you kind of have to look at a map to see that, but that is
Yeah.
possible. And I will say, I walked from the lobby of Riviera down to the right past the Skyliner hub for Riviera,
Oh yeah.
down towards the Skyliner hub for Caribbean Beach,
Hmm.
across the middle of the lake, and then all the way back around to the Riviera lobby, of
Yeah.
which I was probably only on. I walked. It was a little over a mile, and I did
Yeah.
not even walk the full length of Caribbean Beach. And of that, I was mostly on Caribbean Beach property, not Riviera property.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
We got off at the Skyliner and then walked into the lobby of Caribbean Beach and then up to the side of Riviera and in. So yeah, it's not a long walk. It doesn't like it
it's
didn't take very long.
no, it's a nice walk. There's lots to
Yeah.
see and lots of scenery
You're
change.
on water, which is nice. So like there's a little lake that connects all of it. They've got really cool like bird houses. There's like special birds that are in Florida in the not winter, so they weren't there right now, but they're called martin birds or something like that. I don't know. Because I made a joke about Steve Martin and Martin Short
I
once.
I actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't realize they were there, but I know the birds you're talking about.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then the one thing we didn't mention, I think, when we did talked about the French Quarter, the Port
Mhm.
Orleans resorts, is moderates are mostly all set up in a motel style. So
Mhm.
in this, we mentioned 24 sprawling buildings, but I believe they're only 3 or 4 stories high, nothing higher than that, but all outside entrances
Yeah.
to the.
The other thing to keep in mind while we're talking about preferred rooms being closest to all the main things is that moderates and values, no, maybe it's just moderates, have extra quiet pools. Like deluxe resorts also have them, but it
Value.
just values do too, yeah. So when they're these larger resorts, you're going to have more than likely a pool that's only a couple of minutes from you. So if you're staying in the furthest room from the main area, and let's say it takes you 10 minutes to walk from your room to the lobby, it's only going to take you like 2 or 3 to get to a pool more than likely because they sort of put the buildings around a quiet pool. So every 2 or 3 buildings there's going to be a quiet pool.
It's not going to have a slide or be anything fancy, but
There's
it.
no lifeguards.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Um, so it's really your choice. The price is right, and it honestly is probably the one moderate because of the Skyliner that is currently the most requested, and
Mhm.
therefore it is hard to sometimes find it with pricing up with discounts.
Discounts. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's also one of the only moderates. It's the only moderate I can think of that you can walk to a character meal. Because again, thinking about Riviera, they've got Topolino's, which is the Fab Five in their cute little artist outfits.
for breakfast,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so that's something that I think there's a lot that it is appealing about Caribbean Beach. I think really the main downside of Caribbean Beach is how sprawling it is. And for some people, that's not a problem. I know I mentioned this when we talked about Port Orleans, but if you're catching a ride share, they'll pick you up in front of your building. You're not having to go to the main lobby to get picked up for a ride share, which is really
Right.
nice.
Right.
So if you're parking, you're not parking at the main entrance and walking all the way. Like there's parking all around the outside of the buildings. So the good news is if you don't rely on the bus system, it's not that big of a deal. But if you are one of those people who you come to Disney and you rely on their transportation, it is going to be a little cumbersome to get anywhere that's not Epcot or Hollywood Studios.
A nice option if it's in
Yeah.
budget, some extra added amenities that you can't get in any other moderate with the
Yeah.
Skyliner. Good food,
Good food.
walkable to a deluxe and character meal.
Yeah.
So if you stayed there, let us know what you thought. And but
Yeah.
you should just go and try it out yourself.
You should just go. When in doubt, just go.
That's it.
But we still need to talk about the values, which we're going to do in some later episodes. So if you are interested in hearing about those, definitely take a listen when we release them in the next couple of weeks. That being said, until next time, let's just go.